Hi, it's Susie from Nail Career Education, and today I'm going to do something different, an almond. I love the almond shape. I didn't like them in the beginning, but I really like them. I've never worn it and I could use a fill. Let's get started. So as I said, I'm going to do an almond shape. I'm also going to do some pinching, kind of an advanced technique, but there are really special ways to do it and it looks really cool. So to get started, I have to file these off and just going to get rid of them completely, form them up, and then form the almond shape. I do have to wear a mask because I think you should. Think about it. It just protects your lungs, make sure all that fine dust doesn't get into your face and your nose. Okay, I'm going to shorten all my nails now and prepare them for the forms. Now I'm using a carbide bit. They are, I don't know if you can see this really close up, but you can see the teeth on those. They're pretty strong. You really got to know how to use a carbide bit in order to use it. You can use a little bit of a finer one. That would be these. I call them teeth on here, but it's a little bit finer. The deal is if you hit somebody's skin with this, you can really make a mess and you don't want to do that. So you can use a carbide bit. They're best for shortening and thinning a thick nail, but don't go near the cuticle. They're not meant for that. As you can see, they take off a lot of product. They're essential for changing color and taking off a lot of length and a lot of thickness. It's a must-have bit, but you really have to know how to use it. The trick when filing is to want to turn it up really, really high to make it go faster, to take off more stuff. It's not effective. The higher you go, the more it turns around and the more it burns the client. That's why the crucial bit is important. If you have a dull bit, you kind of file more, it's going to burn them. If you have a really good bit, you don't have to turn it up very far to be very effective. That's almost off. Now I'm not going to take the whole thing off because I can leave the nail bed on there. It's the length that I'm concerned about because I'm reshaping. So that one's almost ready to go. I still got a lot of this product color that I put on. It's just messing around with the design idea. So make sure that you're really bracing yourself because when you're taking these off, if you slip, you don't want to cut something. So make sure your pinky is your anchor point somewhere. It's awkward too doing your own hand. If you're doing someone else's, you can grip onto them and make sure they're holding in one spot. But doing yourself is a little bit harder because you don't have that extra hand to help you out. Okay, I've taken all the nail off, I've completely shortened it, and I've taken the thickness down too to incorporate the new nail. Just for note purposes, this is an arbor band that I put on here. It's a medium and it's good for around the cuticles. You don't want to use the carbide bit around the cuticles, but use this one. This is the one you want to use. It's very gentle. Okay, so now I'm going to form them up and I'm going to start the shape of the almond going. Now, there was a viewer, Jasmine33, she suggested that we do a natural. So I'm going to do a natural with a pink nail bed with an almond shape. I'm not going to do an edge that's sharp on the free edge. I'm going to do a soft fade for it. So it's going to blend into the natural and the natural free edge is going to blend into the pink. What makes this very natural too is the colors you choose. There was a lot of imperfections in the nail plate. You could use a cover pink, for example. I tend to like the pinks that have more of a cool tone to them as opposed to the warm. So right now I'm going to put the free edge on and I'm going to do a natural colored powder ball. Now this is a bit more of a stronger natural, so I am going to try to blend it, fade it. I don't want it to have a hard edge of the natural, so I'm going to try to fade a little bit between the two. I want it to look quite natural. Now this doesn't have to be a perfect almond, as you can see. This is not turning out to be a perfect almond shape, but that's where all your filing comes in. You just want to get the roundabout area of an almond. Okay, that's an almond enough nail. I think I'm just going to smooth the cuticle over a bit. Just make sure my arch is happy. There'll be a bit of filing to do on this little lumpy guy. Okay, so something I don't know if you've done is pinching. Big fan, I love it. But there is a way to do it, and there's a way to do it wrong. Now, when you pinch too soon, if it's too mucky still, you'll dent it and ruin the shape. If you pinch too late, you have a potential of cracking the nail plate. So the area you're focusing on is in here, not the tip. You want to grab a hold of the side, and you want to bring that nail a little bit rounder. But pinching is really beautiful. It makes it very long, narrower. It's almost like I say if you put it on a dress and you put on a belt, it just cinches it up a little bit and just sort of tightens it and shapes it. That's what pinching can do. So I thought I'd just show you some of the products I'm using. This is I&M. This color is called Pristine. It's a pink with a little bit of blue in it, and it just gives a nice blue, cool pink on the nail bed. I love it. This is just a jar with a combination of a bunch of colors I've mixed up to make my pink base. And this is the natural, what I'm using on the free edge to give it a very natural look. When I file it all up, it'll look really cool. So now I'm just gonna continue doing the rest of the almond shapes. Now I had another viewer, Glitter Me Pink. She was concerned about sealing the cuticle, she called it. And I think what you mean by that is that you're looking at making the cuticle nice and smooth. So it doesn't lift, so it doesn't have any edges, meaning sealing it to make it nice and smooth. Okay, so to show you some cuticle work, remember this is really tough. It takes a lot of practice to do this. You get your bead of acrylic, you lay it in, clean your brush, and then you want to push it close to the cuticle, and you want to push it quite thin. You want to go in then and smooth it as best you can. I'm sort of slightly, ever so slightly pushing it down at the same time as I'm pulling back. That's how to make a smooth cuticle. But that, my friend, takes a lot of practice. It's because the product is drying at the same time. So you're really racing against the clock, right? Just gonna check my free edge, make sure it's thick enough. That looks good. I think I'm liking this shape. Okay, so I've applied all the acrylic, and some days when I apply acrylic, I'm just so on, it's just amazing. And some days it's not. Today's one of those days, but we can save it in the filing. So when I file an almond, I went and got a pack of almonds, and I just took a bunch out. What is the shape of an almond? And I learned that an almond comes to a point, but it comes quite fat to a point. It's not to a point like that. It comes quite round and then to a point. And you can go really pointy on the tip or a bit of a soft point. Because I am doing a lot of filing, I'm going to wear my mask. Oh, and I am going to use the carbide bit to start shaping it and such. So right now I'm taking away some bulk off of the top and just sort of trying to find my shape, keep with maintaining the arch, keeping the arch in there. And I'm just sort of taking the bulk away from the sides. Thank goodness for drills. They sure saved my arm. That's coming. So then I'm going to start finding my almond shape in it. It's tough because fingers are not perfect. Fingers are rather imperfect, so you're trying to put this perfect shape on an imperfect surface, really. So I'm looking for that almond shape. You can get really, really picky. I don't know how pointy I really want them. I've never worn them before, so I'm gonna have to just sort of play a little. can see what I really, really want. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty almondy. I'm just gonna finish these off now and prepare them for polish. Put a little elbow grease into these ones. These meant to really, press a little harder. These are like a chamois. This is what they're doing. I find when I get my students in, they're so gentle. They have the nice gentle touch, and they just don't press hard enough. And once we get the hang of it, by the end of the class, they're filing hard now and putting some elbow grease into it and getting it really nice and smooth. It makes a huge difference. Huge difference. You don't want to see any scratches on there whatsoever. So there we go. I finished filing and shaping, and it turned out to be a beautiful almond. Not sure if I love it, but it's growing on me. I picked a nude color. Glints of Glidden is the OPI color that I chose. I really love nude tones, and this is quite beautiful. When I'm finished, I just put on a coat of clear. It just finishes it off beautifully. You can do one coat of the nude, but today I did two. There. I hope you like the reveal pictures. Thanks to Glitter Me Pink and Jasmine33 for the great questions. And feel free to ask me questions on my YouTube page anytime, and I'll try my best to answer them. I'll see you soon.